right. Good morning, everyone. I'm happy that you guys are here on this beautiful morning in God's house. I appreciate the great I am for letting me tell my story and how I want to inspire other women to get 2019 going. Okay, so I want to tell you a little bit about myself on how I got into the life insurance industry. So I've worked in the nonprofit sector for 18 plus years. And in the beginning, it was gang intervention. That was my title, working with gang members and the Pico Union community, which is known as Rampart. And it was interesting because during the time that I was working in Pico Union, I had many of homicides to go to, whether it was 12 noon, 1 a.m., 4 a.m. That was the kind of job that I had. So when somebody got murdered, I had to rush to go to the scene and help the family, you know. And so one thing that I noticed working with the families is that they were always looking to me to how I was going to help them bury their child. And I didn't realize how people were going to utilize me for that. And I didn't have the resources at that time because I didn't know nothing about life insurance at the time. So what I would do was come together and do tamale plates, $5 to raise funds, car washes, asking the victims of crime for the people that are not on parole and probations. If they're on parole and probation, you cannot get victims of crime. And so as I'm doing this and doing this and doing this, it started to tear me down spiritually, And mind you, I wasn't going to church like I am now. So, I was getting torn down, and I didn't know how to revive myself spiritually. And so I got tired. And so I kept praying to God and saying, you know what, Lord, I need you to remove me from this industry and put me somewhere else because I'm tired. I'm tired. And so this is the story right here that really impacted me more than anything. I had a new client, and he was Latino, and he was a gang member, and his mother, we had a family meeting. And in the family meeting, the mother says, I just got a raise. And do you know anything about life insurance? I was like, no, because I'm a gang intervention, but I can find somebody that can help you. And so I contacted somebody I knew that was a case manager that did life insurance on the side. And I told the client, I said, when I have my next family meeting with the mother, can you come? And she goes, of course I will, but it has to be after 5:30 because of the conflict of interest. I said, okay, no worries. And so I was able to bring the case manager with the mom and the son and explain to them about life insurance, right? Like if something were to happen to moms, he would have something. Mind you, it was 4 people living in a 1-bedroom apartment, okay? And it was a 1-bedroom apartment with 2 bunk beds. So 4 people had their beds in that 1 bedroom. And so the mother worked hard, making ends meet, and so we got her insurance. And so my friend tells her, well, what's important, that you should be able to have insurance on your son just in case, because sometimes we have to bury our children. And she goes, well, I hope not. My son is in prison fighting a case and I don't have a lawyer, but how much will it cost for him? And so it was about $15 a month for term insurance because he was young. You remember how Pastor Mo showed that video? It says, the younger you are, the cheaper you are, the healthier you are, the better. And so he was young and healthy. And so they both got their life insurance. She delivered the policy and everything. So fast forward, there's a homicide I go to before Christmas. And I rushed there 2 a.m, talk to, LAPD, and they're like, Raina, this is your community. See if you know this young man. They pulled the cover. That was my client. And so that hurt my heart. That really did. I didn't think about life insurance or nothing. I don't remember the life insurance. And I said, you know what? While you take care of your business, I know the child, and I'm going to go to the mother. So it's 3 a.m. Mothers have this intuition. Man, they do. And so I knocked on the door. She was drinking coffee, and she opened the door, and she told me in Spanish, is my son okay? And I didn't know how to tell her. And I was just like, ma'am, he's gone. And she cried and she cried. And I just told her, I'm here for you. And she made me coffee. We talked. And I told her, I got to get home because I have to be at work at 9 a.m. for our team meeting. And I'll come back to visit her. So I went to work. She called me and she says, Raina, how am I going to spend this money that I have? And I'm like, well, what are you talking about, ma'am? She goes, I received my $250,000 check from the life insurance company. And I'm like, oh my Lord. And I said, okay. I said, well, we'll talk about it. Just let me finish the work. And I sat down with her. We got at the table. Mind you, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a woman with a big heart. And I told her, okay, what are the things that you need? She goes, I want to bury my son in this big Catholic ceremony of our traditions of our family. I said, okay, so let's go to McCormick and talk to the people and let's get this situated. The blessing is back then there was no GoFundMe. So I didn't have to hustle for that money like I always had to. And it was a peace of mind for myself, and it was a peace of mind for the mother. So she didn't have to stress. All she had to do was grieve. So when you're grieving and stressing, that's like the worst. That's the worst. And so she was able to grieve and let me help her. And so the leftover balance, we had the funeral and everything, and she had a lot of money left. And she goes, what do I do, Raina, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, you know what? I know your son is fighting this case. Let's pray about it and see what you feel, and I'll refer you to a lawyer. And I referred her to a criminal lawyer. And with $20,000 of her money, he was going to be released in about 2 weeks, because the lawyer fought for him, and they were putting all kind of gang injunctions and all kind of stuff on that one felon of attempted murder. And so he was released. And then she asked me, what do I do next? And mind you, I am not a mother, I'm not a wife, I'm this youngster, like guiding this woman, an older woman. And I just told her the next step is to get out of Dodge. So she bought her a house cash in Moreno Valley, opened her a taco shop. Her son that came out of prison running the taco shop, and God is good. So yes, she lost a son in the process, but you know what? Everything happens for reasons we don't understand why everything happens. But I'm gonna tell you, it was a pain there, but it was a blessing in it, in itself, of what life insurance did for her. And so that's when I asked that case manager, how are you doing this? And she says, I work this job because that's just, I like to work, but I do this on the side. And so if you're interested, you can come to my organization. We have, meetings every Tuesday and Saturday. And so I went and I started. And so that's why I love doing life insurance, because of that powerful story. So now I want to help anybody that I can help to provide them the services to educate people, and already know I'm all about educating, empowering, teaching the word. That's what my radio show is about. So I wanted to give you an example of term insurance. So term insurance is important, and permanent insurance is important. But I'm here to help people on a budget, because I'm not about the money. I'm not going to put you in a permanent life insurance for $250 and then you just let it go. No. I'm about long-term relationships and helping, clients and customers. And so I have 2 policies that I have to deliver this weekend. One in Hesperia and one in Hawthorne, California. And this is like the 2 policies for this week. And it's a blessing. And so, thank you. And so I was just wanting to give you guys an example. So for a 30-year-old woman, for a 30-year term insurance, meaning 30 years she's insured, she only has to pay $18.23 a month. And she's a mother of 5. So if something were to happen, she has $100,000 to be able to help with her funeral expense and whatever leftover money. Because at the end of the day, it's our responsibility as a mother to not leave our children as a burden to other people. It's our responsibility to insure our children and insure ourselves, so then we won't leave our children on SSI or in struggle, because I've seen it in my family. And then I have another example that I wanted to show you, that it's $100,000 life insurance policy for 30 years. And she is 38 years old. And the life insurance is $32.68. So when you think about this, that's not a lot. That just means you got to not go to McDonald's. Yeah, or Starbucks or whatever your pleasure is, So that's just an example of how it's affordable. Now I'm going to go into two more things, and then I'm going to tell you about a lady that has helped me, that she'll be able to help you guys as well. So I wanted to give you an example of a tax bracket, just to educate you guys, okay? That I didn't even know this. So a tax bracket is tax me now, tax me later, or tax me never. Raise your hand if you want tax me now. Raise your hand if you want tax me later. Raise your hand if you want tax me never. All right. So I want to let you guys know, tax me now is kind of like checking with an interest, right? Savings with an interest, certificate of deposit. A lot of people say, oh, girl, you can make money on this CD. No, that is not true. They don't even give you a 4% or a 5%. They give you under a 1%. Sometimes, if you're lucky, maybe a 2%. And money markets, that's not a product that you want to invest your money in. Mutual funds or stocks, because when the economy takes a dump, your money leaves right with it. And I was, I had my story of my 401k of how the economy took a dump in 2007, and I lost about 20,000, And so 401ks and those kind of things are not guaranteed. You want something that is guaranteed. So let's talk about the tax me later product. 401ks, okay? Pensions, profit sharing, IRAs, things of that, variable or fixed annuities. And sometimes tax me later could be real estate, but we all know about the real estate. When the economy takes a dump, that cash value in that home it goes negative. And so one thing that I do want to educate you guys too is that sometimes people like to borrow money from a 401k. Well, it says no access until 59 and a half. So if you try to touch it, they're going to tax you. And it's a 10% penalty plus an access fee penalty, fully taxed even after when you get taxed. And then my favorite, because I have a product from a life insurance that's called a permanent life insurance, Index Universal Life. And so tax me never is municipal bonds, which is an example of if you're retired and you got about, $100K in the account. For some odd reason, the city knows this, and they give you a call and say, hi, my name is Raina Carrillo. I'm the mayor of Inglewood, and I know that you have some funds in the community. We're trying to get our parks connected and situated for the youth. Do you have 10,000? Yes, ma'am, I have 10,000, Ms. Carrillo. Then I'm saying, okay, well, we got a 3 to 5% interest. So you let us get that 10,000. Once the park is fixed, then I'll give you 20,000 back. That's an example, okay? And then the Roth IRA. If you're going to put your money in anything, don't put it in an IRA. Put it in a Roth IRA, okay? That's, you never get taxed. You get taxed when you get your paycheck. They tax you. But when you put that money into the Roth IRA, you don't have to worry about that. Okay, and then the cash value life insurance, our VULs, variable universal life. I don't like to gamble in general, and I don't like to gamble with my money. So that's why I don't pick the VUL. VUL is probably for the wealthy people that like to play with their money, not me. I like to stay safe and stable. And then the IUL is perfect for me, and that's what I prefer for my clients. You get your cash value and your life insurance, and the life insurance protects the cash value. So if you get divorced, your husband can't touch that money. But if you get divorced, your husband can touch that money in the bank and get that house and get that car or whatever. Sometimes you got to protect yourself as a spouse, whether you're a husband or a wife. You got to protect your assets. Or if you get in a car accident, somebody wants to sue you for your home, take that cash value out of that house, they can do that. But in a life insurance, they can't. So the wealthy has their money in that IUL. And O.J. Simpson, a lot of people say, how does he still have money and he's surviving? Well, he had about 10 IULs with millions policy, stuffing the cash value with more millions. So his money is protected, and that's how he's able to live the life he's lived. And you can be low income and middle class and still get an IUL, because I'm middle class and I can afford my $166 a month for a $300,000 policy permanent with the cash value. And I can overfund it every income tax, 1,000 away, 1,000 away, because that APR and that cash value is growing at a what? 7.9%. You're not going to find that nowhere at no bank. Okay? So that's just one thing I want to tell you. And the reason why I'm not a fan of a whole life, the whole life is like, this is how it works. So remember, the IUL gives you the life insurance when you pass and the cash value. Okay? With a whole life, when you pass, you get the life insurance, and all that cash value goes back to the life insurance company. Your family don't get that. I don't think that's very fair. So that's why I am, like, a promoter of the IUL. So that's an example. And so if you have any questions, I'm here at the end, and I can give you a quote. You just let me know. And I'm here for you. Like I said, I'm not about, getting that high premium. I'm about helping people, because when I give people advice, like, hey, you know what? I sell life insurance. I would like to come over and give you a free consultation. You don't have to pay me nothing. I come to your home for free and give you the quote that you need. And if you want to go with it, we can. If you don't, it's okay. I'll follow up with you next year, And so it's a blessing. And so, like I said, I'm about people's budget. And that's what I do, and that's what I love. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So I want to give an extra story behind credit. Pastor Mel and Miss Beverly knows, boy, I came into this church like complaining, telling my story, why God took everything away from me and why I haven't gotten it back and all that stuff. And so 8 months ago, I was like 600 and something score. And this woman's a blessing, because I interviewed her on a radio show. And she pretty much, proved to me that I can help you. Because I've, given my money to people to help me, and I didn't see nothing change. It just took my money, and that was it. Well, this lady was different. And so I was able to get, my goal is to be debt free. I'm not bad in debt like I used to be, thank the Lord. But when you have a good credit score, man, I was able to refinance this loan with Navy Federal Credit Union that was at a high interest, because this was years ago. They had me at a 19 point something. And my payment was going to go back to 300 and some change, which is like, oh my goodness, I need daycare money, babysitting money. And so now that I have the credit score of 790, I went to Unified Federal Credit Union, and they said, Ms. Carrillo, you qualify for a 3.9 fixed personal loan. And it went through like that, like not them looking at you like, I don't know, I think you need to go back over there, go sit down and maybe we can find you something else, a payday loan or something, I don't know. And so I was excited, and I was just like so thrilled, and God knows that I have a lot of things that I have to work on myself, because I'm not perfect. But God knows that where I'm going and how I got to figure this out, once I figure myself out, I'll be able to do so much more for my church, for my children, and for myself. Because we forget about self-love as mothers or as women. I was happy I got my toes done. You see that? Like, oh girl, I got my toes done, because they was talking. They're like, help me, please.